Saudi Arabia has been accused of declaring war on Lebanon. The strong words come from the leader of Lebanon's Hezbollah political and militant group.
It's obvious that Saudi Arabia has declared war on the entire nation of Lebanon, not just Hezbollah in Lebanon.
RT's Jacqueline Vuga joins me in the studio for more on this story. Jackie, when you're hearing words like war, obviously this is getting to a very serious level. What's happening in Lebanon?
So those comments come over the fact that Lebanon's now former prime minister hasn't been seen since announcing his resignation, and at that time he was in the Saudi capital. Now both Hezbollah and the political party, the former prime minister's own political party, feared that he was actually forced to say that resignation by Saudi Arabia and is in fact being held there against his will up to this point. And Western powers don't seem to know what's going on either. France has said that they think he has the ability to move around as he chooses, and the United States State Department has just added more confusion to the mix with a comment that came from their spokesperson.
In terms of the conditions of him being held or the conversations.
You said the conditions of him being held, is he in detention?
Well, I'm not going to put that word behind, I'm not going to associate that word with it, but where he is right now.
Where is he? Does he have a nice room at the Ritz-Carlton?
I don't know personally where he is.
Now, in Hariri's resignation speech, he specifically attacked Iran, accusing the country of planting discord and destruction and interfering in Arab countries, also warning that their hand of influence in the region would be cut off. And here's where you kind of need to take a step back and look at the bigger picture of what's happening. Saudi Arabia, of course, and Iran have been locking horns for years. And while this is a long-running regional struggle, the two are not actually in direct confrontation. It's all happening through proxy wars. And Lebanon is, in fact, a prime example of that. Hariri, the prime minister who's just resigned, his leadership was supported by Saudi Arabia, whereas Hezbollah, who wield massive influence in the country, are backed by Iran, which leaves Lebanon just caught up in the middle, this conflict between Saudi Arabia and Iran. And it's seen in a number of countries throughout the region. We were just earlier talking about the missile that was launched from Yemen. That's another prime example. Yemen has, of course, been engulfed in their own civil war for 2 years now. And in that case, Saudi Arabia supports the government that was ousted in 2015, whereas Iran backs the Houthi rebels who are fighting that very government. And last Saturday's missile was fired from Yemen, fired by Yemeni rebels at Saudi Arabia's capital. It's all just insanely intertwined. Or you can even look at Syria, where they're backing opposing parties. Saudi Arabia is, of course, anti-Assad, where Iran is pro-Assad, and it just keeps escalating. Just on Thursday, Saudi Arabia and 3 of their allies actually urged all of their citizens to leave Lebanon, and that's sort of an open-ended statement. What does that mean? Why would they need to leave Lebanon? Is there something that's going to happen there? So all of these small conflicts are building up, and there's just always the possibility that it could push into a more direct conflict.
I think you did a really good job of explaining all that. It's extremely complicated. And on one side, I was thinking I could explain that this is high-level political machinations, and then I thought, on the other hand, I could just say it's a very dangerous mess. But thank you so much for bringing us up to date. We'll stay with that story. Jacqueline Vuga.